Hey, this is the Average Joe's Weekly Roundtable. The Roundtable is just a place where the Joes get together and just talk about all kinds of things going on in the gaming world. We got Mr. Nasty himself, PJ, and the figgiest of Islanders, Christian. And then here's
I like that.
Just Mug.
Mug, no.
Just Mug.
And
The muggiest of all muggins.
I know, that's
Of
it,
all
the
muggy. If you need, and we're not talking about the coffee mug.
Depends on what game
I mean,
you're talking about. I got a couple.
I
some-
yeah,
But anyway,
for sure.
we digress. Alright, so I got a couple things I want to talk about today, but it's going to be a little different. The first two topics are going to be kind of light, not anything super, we won't delve into them super a whole lot. But after that, we have each chosen an underrated game, or a game that may not have been super popular, but did really well maybe with critics, you know what I mean? So it was critically acclaimed, not super popular still. That happens to a lot of games, unfortunately.
Or games that weren't critically acclaimed, but we still enjoyed, right?
Yeah, that's what I got too.
That's
yeah.
what I chose. Yeah, okay.
Underrated in
Okay.
general.
Yeah, for sure,
Right.
for sure.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So the first thing I got on the topic, I wanted to just kind of give a shout out to the tech issues we ran into with the stream, and I wanted to bring it up, and actually I kind of wanted to hand it off to you to just kind of give an update on what happened with the stuff, because anybody watching really didn't. They're kind of in the dark now.
Put me on the
3
spot.
weeks later.
Wow. I wasn't expecting to talk about this, but
I
okay,
know.
yeah, for sure,
Don't
for
get super
sure.
detailed, but just
No, I agree. Okay, so
ETA
yeah,
also, if you got it.
for those people that are tuned into our Twitch channel, we've been down for what, up to 3 weeks now.
Yeah, I was gonna say quite a while it seems.
So and like Awesome was saying, the tech issues. So our capture card, we used Elgato HG60S capture card. I think it went faulty over some weekend. Echoing voice quality. We tried to narrow it down, and it just got worse. Eventually, we got no audio at all.
Pretty much killed us completely. But
Completely.
You did say that you were having kind of issues sometimes with the plug it in the HDMI, and it would kind of give you input
Yeah,
and things like that.
it's-
So it was a long time coming. It sounded like.
The capture card itself has always been a bit buggy. I thought that was normal with the capture card. And I think it might have been related to the overall problem. I don't know. So we've been working with Elgato, hence the reason why this thing has been so delayed, is we're expecting them to help us to try to fix this issue. Where we're at right now is I'm still trying to get them to send me a replacement. But in the meantime, we've kind of discussed it and said we're just going to move forward and buy an upgraded capture card, which I think we should go with the HD60 Pro, which is actually a PCI attachment that you actually stick to your stream PC, like most streamers actually use.
And it's also Elgato.
It is Elgato. Elgato's just, I hate this. I have nothing against Elgato. I've just, this is the first time I've actually bought their product before.
A lot of people.
I'm not going to say they're bad, but they're super popular. Customer support, I hate to say it, sucks. Going back and forth just to get them to cover their factory warranty device is insane. But bottom line is, bottom line is, I'm buying the new capture card tomorrow. My plan is to maybe get our stream up next week. We usually meet on Mondays, and we don't usually stream on Mondays, so I'm thinking hopefully next Tuesday could be a potential date for us to be back to
Yeah, for
our
sure.
Twitch channel.
Yeah,
So
I'll definitely. Yeah, if that's the day, I'll be there.
yeah, so that's where we're at right now, and yeah.
Cool, man. Appreciate it. And I know I put you on the spot. I was kind of. I meant to warn you about it, but it's cool.
No, it's cool.
But it's cool. No big deal.
We got it.
We're past it.
All right, so back to games. So the next topic, like I said, kind of light, but Fortnite Season 5 is coming next week. I know, Christian, you're kind of burnt out on Fortnite and whatnot, But
Yeah.
you gotta be just as interested to see what the hell is happening in that game, because
Oh, for sure.
there's giant
For sure.
cracks in the sky.
Yeah,
and, it keeps getting bigger and
It's still the biggest game out there, so of course you're gonna hear things about it.
right.
You know?
And,
Yeah, for sure.
And I
Yeah,
have to be like every other news outlet talking about Fortnite, but it's coming,
Yeah, exactly. All the gaming,
Yeah.
the whole gaming industry is talking about the next season. of Fortnite.
For sure.
What's up? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I'm definitely intrigued, but I'm also not burnt out. I'll play a game here or two, but I'm definitely done with it for a while. I don't know. I'm just done for a while. I'm tired of dying.
I don't know if I necessarily because I only play it every now and then anyway, and but I am. First of all, I don't know if you saw they're like showing this like axe, and to me it looks like Kratos' axe from God of War, and I was like, what could that even possibly mean? Especially they showed a mask of some sort. I forgot what kind of mask. And then the title of the whole essence of season 5 is When Worlds Collide, but nothing they've shown makes any sense to me. And cracks in the sky. How does that relate to a battle axe? And a mask that looks like he's wearing on Majora's Mask.
No clue. Okay, we'll just have to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
now let's get on to the and actually, who wants to go first?
Oh, is that we're on the subject?
Let's get on to the underrated games. Who wants to go first?
All right. I mean, I can. I guess I can go first.
PJ wants to be put on the spot first.
All right,
Let's
yeah,
go
I was gonna say. I guess I'll be put on the spot first since you put him on the spot last time.
first.
Yeah. So you came to me and asked me to pick an underrated game that I, thought was underrated, or even.
Hold on, quick note. I think PJ is probably going to be the best because he's the king of indie games. So I think he's going to be one of those guys that find a perfect game.
No, this
It
is
was hard for me. I thought PJ would probably nail this pretty well.
No, it's funny because this is not an indie game, and it's actually something that you both have played.
Okay, cool.
And okay, so my game's Prey. And the reason why I choose it is because it actually got shitty reviews.
Time out. We're talking about the newer Prey.
The newest Prey. 2000.
Okay.
We're talking about 2017 Prey.
Okay.
Even it's funny. So GameSpot gave it a 6, but the person that reviewed GameSpot the most underrated games, they put that on one of their top 5 of all the lists that I've seen, as far as top underrated games of the last decade, or underrated games of 2017. Just in general, it's always way up on the list. I think it's great. First off, there's a gun on there, the goo gun. So it's from the same makers of Dishonored. So they want you to figure out. They want you to figure out different. I know, and it's funny because they want you to figure out different ways to get to things. So, for instance, there's a goo gun and a glue gun. I believe GLOO.
It just shoots out of big.
And it shoots out big ass wads of glue. So that being said, if you see a vent up at the top, you can shoot the goo, if you will, one in a stair pattern, and use it as stairs to get up to the vent, or your objective if you want to see what's up there.
I would have never thought of that. Ever.
Yeah,
Granted,
so
I hated that gun when I played with it, but that makes perfect sense. It
It's
actually gives it a lot more
definitely
use in my
so if I do have to say one thing about it that one thing about the story mode in general, story is very good. I'm very intrigued, very not the best story, but very good, very good. One thing I have to say though is I'm stuck like Chuck.
Chuck.
Yeah, for sure.
It's made by the Dishonored devs, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not stuck as far as I don't know where to go. I know exactly where to go.
Okay.
I'm stuck as far as
their games usually kind of.
It is hard. It is tough. These enemies are not like Dishonored. There's no, you don't get swords. I mean, you can get a wrench, but they can do what is that gonna do to a fucking phantom shooting fireball?
Right?
I know, right?
We can give him a sword now. Give him a wrench.
Yeah, that's what usual actions right?
Yeah. Fuck him.
But honestly, for me, it's definitely I'm 30 hours in. I've definitely kind of I wouldn't say burnt myself out. I'm just really in a different kind of mood right now. I'm in a Diablo 3 mood. Different story. I didn't burn myself out. I'm just in a different mood. But I'm like 30 hours in, and I can easily probably put 10 more hours in. I would say 12 to 15 of those 30 hours are the story, and the others are the DLC Moon Crash. One thing I will say is I don't think Moon Crash should have been paid for. I do think it should have been free or like a $5 add-on.
How much was it?
It's $20. That's a little steep.
That's
Maybe
pretty
10's
high.
better. Maybe 10's a little better. I mean, it's definitely, it's not endless playthroughs, but you can probably play it 100 different times, and they guarantee that every single time you play it's a different outcome. That's a little stretched. I know what they mean, but it's definitely a little stretched. But it is what it is. All in all, though, I would give that game like an 8.5 out of a 10. It's really good. Like I would recommend it to anybody that just likes Dishonored. I mean, don't go in and expecting the same experience as Dishonored, because I think you're going to.
That's what I was going to
something more
ask.
different.
I mean, so, like, I
there's-
love the Dishonored games, and I like the setting and whatnot in them, but that's not what I'm in love with. Really, is the amount of options and things that you get with.
You definitely yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's that emergent gameplay that you like to see. I mean, you know, in Dishonored, I could potentially like shoot an arrow at, take control of some dude, make him go stand next to another dude, make him shoot at the other guy, freeze time, like jump out of his body, freeze time, and then make them kill each other. It's just
For sure.
I don't know. I know you get powers and things on Prey, right?
Yeah, for sure. Example one power is the main prey enemy that they publicly put out there was the mimic that can mimic other objects. That's one of the powers you can get, and I don't actually think
do what the mimics do.
For sure. So if you see like a chair or a table or a coffee mug, you can just transform into that and be one of those. Now, it's funny I say that. I don't even take advantage of that, and I probably should. I just go in there in full force because they really expect you to play it very stealthy. They
That's
know
what I was
the
gonna
combat's
ask,
very
'cause I'm
hard.
always super stealthy on always.
They fully expect you to play it stealthy.
Okay. You could turn into
or just
That's right. You could turn into like sentry turrets and things, can't you?
you can maybe. I haven't. If you can, I definitely don't have that power. You can take control of them and like. Not take control of them, you can like put them on your side, if you will.
Right. Okay. Like a hack type of.
Yeah, but it's very interesting. For instance, another thing they put on there. I'm almost done. I know we need to go on to the next person, but another thing, one last note they put on there. The sentry turrets recognize Typhoon powers. So that being said, if you put enough Typhoon powers at the beginning of the game before you get any Typhoon powers, and even like when you start getting Typhoon powers, the sentry guns will see you and be like, like no Typhoon powers detected, non-threatening, and just deactivate basically, or just go into standby mode. The more Typhoon powers you get, I'm to the point now to where I can't go in front of a sentry turret and not get shot because it recognizes me as an alien.
Oh.
Do you have to have powers
so
by
it's
the end of it, or like do you choose?
No, that's funny. You don't have to have powers. You can actually go through it completely powerless, just like in Dishonored. There's no reason to get powers. So there's neuromods, which is what neuromods increases your upgrades and stuff. There's powers, but there's also other stuff like suit upgrades to increase your inventory that neuromods will do, gun upgrades that have no ability to like whatsoever.
The combat's kind of similar to Dishonored, or like can you like say for instance?
Kind of. There's a lot more guns and a lot more things to do. Melee wise, I guess yeah. It is. It's. I mean, it's just a wrench. If you imagine. I mean, it's not a bad animation, but it's still just a.
What about?
I mean, my
like
camera
stealth
sucks,
kills
so I'm
and
not
stuff like that. It's like insta kill type of thing, or?
Yeah. If once you get up to a certain level, yeah, it's definitely insta kills. In the beginning, it's probably I think like 150 extra damage.
So my favorite thing about Dishonored, and it's a weird thing to be my favorite, but it is. If there's a desk or something and you try to like crouch, and
you can definitely go underneath.
But then if you go under it, and you'll literally.
Yeah,
go
you can.
You can still do that.
You can do that on this too. Yeah, for sure. It's very good. I would recommend it. I got it on the Steam sale for $15, and I do not regret it. Even 30, I think is what it is now. I still would recommend it at 30. It's pretty good. But yeah, Prey is definitely my game.
Cool, man.
Anyway, I think
I will
think
check it out
that's
eventually.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that's it for me.
All right, we just want to go down the line. The big C.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me set my timer. So I'm not
so-
going too much time.
I'm so curious to see what it's like to hear what your game is, because I know what Austin's game is.
I'm pretty excited.
Oh. I hate to say this is definitely. I really had to think because me as a gamer, for those that don't know, I think I do fall into the hype of bigger games, critically acclaimed games. I mean, I just fall for the Call of Duties, the Witcher 3s, and stuff like that. So it was really hard for me to figure out a game that I actually enjoyed that didn't do well to critics, you know? So I had to go back in time a little bit. So bear with me. This is definitely a game I don't think either of you guys have played. I don't think that many people played in general because it was kind of wasn't viewed positively, which I thought was perfect.
How far back are we going here?
2002.
2002.
Oh damn. Okay.
2002. All right. So 2002. I'm gonna say this game. You guys are gonna laugh. Okay. I'm like overhyping it.
Like I can already see it. 10-year-old Christian sitting by the CRT monitor.
Yes, exactly.
Playing Prince of Persia. Same time.
That was a great game. Anyways, Star Fox Adventures.
Oh man, never played it. No.
So wait a minute.
No.
Before you start, is this the one where you're not in a ship and you're literally running around as Star Fox?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me give some context to the game for those that don't know. So if you guys know what I'm talking about, but don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So the Nintendo GameCube came out in 2001. It was actually supposed to be a launch title for the GameCube. It got pushed back about a year because development went on crazy. It was developed by Rare and published by Nintendo. And actually, it was just funny because Rare was acquired by Microsoft literally right after this title. This was the last Rare Nintendo game ever developed, pretty much, before Microsoft came. And
why Conker's was remade onto the Xbox.
Yes, and just a little background on that. When Microsoft took it over, they actually tried to port Star Fox over to the Xbox, which they just introduced when they introduced the first Xbox during that time.
Imagine a Star Fox on the Xbox?
I know, it would have been crazy.
Machine?
Nintendo shut that down real quick.
Exactly. So the only reason that stopped him was the licensing of Star Fox was still owned by Nintendo, and they were not going to let that happen. So anyways,
no
but
way.
Like, gameplay-wise, what did you do as a third-person Star Fox?
Yeah, so that's the thing. So the story of Star Fox Adventures actually follows the game Star Fox 64, which I know you guys have played.
Definitely.
A lot of people play that. That's the historical where you're in a ship.
Yeah.
You know, everybody, Slippy, Lombardi, Falco,
Fox.
Fox, of course.
That's one of the few games my dad actually would play with me.
Right? That was definitely an iconic game that we played back in the day.
Bro, I'd hug you. So.
So with this game, this is following the events of Star Fox 64, and you actually take control of Fox, only Fox, and you explore this planet called Dinosaur Planet. Yes, it sounds stupid. Sounds corny because it was.
Okay.
So it was basically a third-person adventure game where you play as Fox on this planet, and your whole purpose is you're supposed to, the planet's falling apart, and you're supposed to, and when I say falling apart, different pieces of the planet are hovering over, it's about to explode.
Coming apart.
Right, it's literally coming apart. So your whole point of the game is you get these Kazoa spirits, right? And when you do, it brings different pieces back to the planet. Sounds simple. So what made this game unique was, like you said, Star Fox as just a fighter game, or when you're in a ship, you go through tunnels,
or a fighter ship, or
right. This is completely different. You play as Fox, and you have this spear, and you fight people. And not only that, not only do you fight people, there's dungeons and regions and areas. It's actually open world. It was actually kind of advanced. Now that I think about it, it was totally open world.
Being back in the day, I had no clue like that.
Well, it was compared to Zelda, Ocarina of Time. What? Exactly, and actually that is where the criticism came in. People thought it was pretty much a cheaper ripoff of Zelda, but with a Fox Star Fox theme, which didn't fit the criteria.
Dang.
Now,
Gotcha.
the reason I picked this game was I actually loved the game. I had a 10-year-old Christian just sitting playing this game. This is before the internet was big, so there was no guides to beat certain dungeons. It was just like Zelda, where you go through one dungeon, unlock a skill or gadget, and then that would unlock you or at least the ability to go to another region to progress that way. You know, so you had to go,
Okay.
you had to go back and forth, right?
Yeah,
Talking
yeah.
to dinosaurs, and you know, they had like cloud runners, and those were like pterodactyls or whatever. I know they had tribe names. There were different tribes of dinosaurs. It sounds super corny, and it really was.
What were the enemies? Were they like humanoid or more dinosaurs?
They were. So the bad guy was General Scales. Don't ask me why I remember that, but it's General Scales. He was basically like a big T-Rex guy in clothes, and his minions were like baby T-Rexes, which were about the size of Fox, and you just fight them with your spear.
Who also wore clothes?
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah. Fox looked like Fox, basically. So, but he didn't have his blaster or anything. I always thought he had a gun. You don't have a gun in the game.
No blaster. That's kind of.
He got he got equipped with a spear. And what was cool about the spear is
Surprise,
on the,
motherfucker.
yeah, on the game on the GameCube there's a what was it called? It was like a yellow, instead of a D-pad, I think they had like a yellow analog stick. Forget what it was for, but it was, you would use that to do different tricks with your spear. So as you progress Fox, you unlock different skills. So you'll spin it around your body or spin it above your head and do a big spin move, or you vault over him and whack it straight on the ground and do extra damage and stuff like that. The combat was actually a lot of fun. The graphics were gorgeous. But a lot of people didn't give it a time of day because it wasn't a true, and actually even to this day, it's not a true Star Fox game.
I mean,
in fact, a lot of people don't even consider it.
I mean, that sounds really cool, especially back in the GameCube days. You know, games were lacking around that area. You know what I mean?
Never owned one.
Like,
yeah,
See, and I didn't own a GameCube either because I was like, okay, well, I don't want to play Soul Calibur.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
That's really the one GameCube game that I did play a lot was the Spider-Man game. So I wish I had played that. That's really cool. I remember when it came out. Like I remember seeing it in Game Informer and.
Yeah, I think it was, like I said, it was supposed to be a launch title. So the sales of the game did not do very good because it was a standalone launch. And like I said, people took one look at it and saw it was so cheesy. You know, like you said, your dad played the Star Fox 64. Him looking at this little kiddie game, he was probably like, no, thank you.
Damn.
So it was,
well,
it wasn't
activated at Nintendo. Because where the hell is his spear in Smash Bros?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like, who cares if he didn't do any good? He gets a fucking weapon.
Right, there. You do get to fly your, what's it called, your R-Wing, or is it R-Wing?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Star Fox's ship, whatever it's called. You do fly it for maybe like 5 minutes to get to the planet originally.
Oh damn it!
And that was, and that's it. And then it's all third person, traveling, exploring, unlocking shit. So.
Bro, that's a really good one to bring up. I like that, and you went super old. I love it.
I did. I had to, because most games that I like right now that I actually genuinely enjoy, everyone loves them. I'm just the norm. I'm not unique in any way. I'm not a big indie game person either. So that was my game.
All right, so I'll talk about mine, and so mine is underrated in the sense it was super critically acclaimed. Everybody, critics loved it. Game reviews were great about it. There was nothing bad. It just didn't, and it probably sold pretty well. I mean, I won't give it that. I personally only know like one person that owns it, and that's just really disappointing to me because this game is fantastic. Kingdom Come
and it's
Deliverance.
yourself. You only own that.
Yeah, no, I know one other, but
gotcha.
That's the thing. This game is so good. I mean, first of all, it's a game coming out in 2018. Obviously, the graphics are going to be fucking gorgeous, but it's more than that. They have so many little details in everything. There's a lot of graphics settings that you can change it to. Also, you can go from like potato mode to straight up like fucking seeing better than someone that can't see very well.
So it didn't do very well.
I mean,
I thought it did well.
It definitely probably did sales wise and things like that. And like I said, the critics loved it. But no one really knows about this game. Like unless you're a super big RPG guy or just follow games hardcore, a lot of people.
I mean, I think technically it's considered an indie game. It's not considered.
It is. I would think it probably is because it was. I mean, it started on Kickstarter, and I actually followed it from the beginning. When it hit Kickstarter, I didn't back it, which I should have. If I'd have known it was going to be so good, I probably would have. But that's kind of the point of Kickstarter.
You didn't believe them at first.
Yeah, but not just like when I say details. I was talking about graphics, but they would give subtle details, and they would try to be super accurate with the way like the world would be set up. So like, you got this village here, but then you go and you notice that there's a river kind of running near it, because usually people kind of settle towards water, right? Whatever. That makes perfect sense. You go up the river though, and you'll find other people that their profession requires the river, and it's not even that big of a river. You know what I mean? You might find some fishermen or whatever, but then you'll find like camps of like loggers or steam loggers or charcoal burners is what they are. And to make charcoal, they have to keep steaming their logs and everything, and they stay by the water. And details like that is just fantastic. It was, I mean, granted, there's a lot of charcoal burners in the quest and things that you got to go talk to and whatever. So they kind of worked it into the story. But I love that kind of detail. I mean, first of all, they're trying to be 100% historically accurate. I say 100%, not 100%, because you can call your horse and he'll show up, kind of like Roach.
Love it though.
Yeah,
love it.
Exactly. Maybe not on a roof, but he'll come to you. That would kind of suck to have to pay attention to where your horse is.
Whoa, Roach!
Things like that. The map is fucking massive. I mean, it's huge, and there's no loading screens in between anything. I mean, you can go into every building, and just open the door. So like, think that you're playing Skyrim, but you don't have to load every time you open a door, just to go inside that one little building.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
And a lot, they were actually inspired by Skyrim a lot, but they didn't want to go magical or fantasy or anything like that. They wanted it to be accurate.
Yeah.
One of the greatest things, though, is not only were they being accurate with history, and they wanted armor and weapons to be a lot more realistic than they are in most games. Like, you think Skyrim and you look at that health bar, and it's just like you're just whacking until they die. I mean, you might block maybe if they're swinging at you, whatever. But this, everything acts the way it should. So like, if they're wearing leather, it's going to react like leather would. If they're wearing plate armor, it'll turn the blade. So I mean, you may not see it physically turn the blade, but you know what I mean. It'll turn the blade away, and they won't get hurt as much. Or if they're wearing like a helmet.
Yeah.
If they're wearing a helmet, you could stab them in the face, and they'll just straight up die because you just fucking stabbed them in the head. And it could be just like anybody. I think main story people are the only ones that can't physically die. But like, I got challenged by this knight, and we were just, it was like a fun bout. It wasn't even like to the death fight. And I stabbed him in the face, and he died. And I was so sad. I felt so bad for that guy. But I didn't expect it to happen. I just, I stabbed him.
Still wore a helmet.
and they have different combinations of moves that you can use with the swords and maces and axes and everything, and they all act the way they should. So if you're wearing a helmet that's full plate helmet, whatever, you can't stab him in the face. You can't hit him in the head with the sword because it's not going to be very efficient against that type of armor on their head. You get a mace or a hammer or something, and that'll pummel the shit out of them because you're crushing it in on their head. And they want to be super realistic with that. There's so many choices as well. They kind of take the Witcher route and give you choices in the story as well. Not just story, in quest in general. There's so many different outcomes that it's kind of mind-boggling, the amount of things. When you first start it, you're like, holy crap, I don't even know if I'm playing the game the way they want me to, because there's so many different ways to go about things. The one guy that I know that has it, we compared stories and they were just so vastly different. The overall campaign was the same, but the outcomes were not, and things were dramatic. I mean, they went to so much effort to try and put so much detail into everything.
Yeah, nice.
And when I say you could be wearing clothes, and you go out and you go kill a group of bandits. Great, you ridded the world of evil. You know, whatever the hell. You're coming back to town to sell the things that you looted, all that good stuff. But people are kind of treating you like assholes, or they're just like, oh, what's that stench? Or don't talk to me, or you know, or they'll just be like, why are you talking to me? And then all of a sudden you realize it's because you look like you just fucking gutted a deer, and there's blood all over you. Your clothes are dirty as fuck, torn up from the fight, you know, and things like. And
yeah, that's
they
really
treat
cool.
you differently, you know, or knights will definitely treat you differently because knights keep up with their stuff and keep their weapons, you know, and armor clean and things like that. Or you go talk to a beggar wearing all your clean armor, and the beggar's just like, oh, I'm so humbled, Sir Knight. Thank you for giving me the honor of talking with me. And I was like, I was just trying to see if you're, you know, gonna get me further in the quest, but all right. It's crazy. The amount of
that's pretty amazing.
I know.
Yeah,
it really
really
is.
cool.
There was a quest that I did yesterday that it kind of blew my mind because I didn't expect it, but I came upon this gruesome scene, you know, and there was this knight that apparently I kind of tracked him down and I found him, and they were like, that's him, so he took off. So I could have caught him right there. I could have caught him and stopped him and killed him. I don't know what would have happened if I did, but he ran off and I didn't make it. So anyway, you're supposed to lie in wait for him, whatever, in this tavern. So I go to this tavern, I'm like, okay, so I'm looking around. I just see him sitting there at a table drinking in mid-daylight, and I was like, I'm not lying in wait, I'm taking him now. So I walked up to him and started talking to him. And I was like, maybe I don't have to kill him. Maybe there's a dialogue option, you know, something. And I'm like, you know, whatever. And he's like, let's not talk now. Don't make a scene. And I had the choice. I could have made a scene. And he was like, let's not make a scene. Let's wait till nightfall and meet me by this certain tree. So I go there, and again, I could have snuck up behind the guy. I could have just waited till he went to sleep in the tavern, looted whatever he was holding, killed him, whatever. I could have done any of that. I didn't because I was trying to be the nice guy, and he seemed like an okay guy. So I get to the willow that he tells me to meet him at, and he's like, so, I kind of wish you hadn't come. This will be your last day. Shink! And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So we are fighting him. So anyway, I heard him.
What an asshole!
Yeah, exactly. But I spared him. He surrendered, so I spared him. And I talked to him. He gave me the shit that he was holding, and the quest continued. But the fact that it all ended up the way it did was crazy. I mean, the amount of different ways he gave me some documents. I probably could have looted those documents from him the second I saw him, way back in the woodcutters village where I found him. But I didn't because I just didn't know, you know. But that's just an example of one.
Yeah, that's really
quest,
cool.
You know.
So is that the attention to detail is amazing, but do you think that's why not many people went for this game? Was there's too much detail?
I do think that's partially because if you explain it, a lot of people are like, oh, well, that sounds terrible. When the game first came out, you didn't even have a save and quit. You could not save the game without going to your bed and going to sleep, which a lot of people didn't like, but it actually made a lot of sense because you don't just go out and kill a bunch of bandits and then just hit save and be done with it and have full health and no, on this game there is a bit of a survival aspect to it, which turns off a lot of people, and I don't blame them. I don't like survival games, but they hit it on the head with this. You have to eat just enough, you have to sleep, keep rested, keep your armor kept up with and things like that, but once you get higher level it doesn't matter. You figured it out, you know what you're doing, and most of it you kind of kick ass later on anyway. But at first Henry is a terrible person, or terrible swordsman, terrible everything combat. You know, you have to learn these skills, and at first you'll be slower and like he'll, you know, doggedly swing it, and you know,
and Henry is you, right? Henry
is the character that you play as, and
nice.
That's actually another. I'm glad you said that because he is a great character. I mean, they make him really likable, but at the same time you can play him the way you want. And he's kind of this blank slate, and they put you in the middle of I think it's Czechoslovakia or not Czech. I don't know. Bohemia. They put you in the middle of a war in Bohemia that actually happened. All of the large-scale battles that happen in the game physically actually happen in real life. You are just an onlooker. I mean, you're in the battle, but you're not like a major turning point for the battle. You're not a captain in it, so you're just a random person from a random village in a battle that happened a long time ago. And that's another thing that I really love. They even made you part of history, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's badass.
And I know I'm rambling a little bit, but the game is fantastic. And if anyone hasn't bought it or hasn't,
I'll definitely give it a try for sure. I know it's really graphic heavy. That's why I'm a little hesitant.
you'll like it. If you like The Witcher, you'll like it. And
Yeah.
they fixed a few things that those games didn't, weren't fixed on those games. I don't know how I'm trying to say it, but
Yeah.
anyway, fantastic game. I would highly recommend.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm gonna check it out soon once it's on sale.
Yeah, I was gonna say it needs to come back on sale again.
And
60
maybe
bucks.
when I get a 1080 Ti, I don't know.
Okay, and that's another thing. The game is graphically heavy.
I know that's what's
the
turning
only
me off
game
as a
that I
gamer.
cannot physically max out all on ultra, all in 4K. I can't do it. I can run it 20, 30 frames if I do that. To get a
Damn.
consistent 45 to 60, I'm on very high on most things and high on some things. And I am playing in 4K. But even still, generally I don't have a problem with my 1080 Ti, and it's still a house. I'm sure my
Yeah.
processor comes into play a little bit, but
Yeah.
expect bugs. It's a really big game. Bugs are big and ambitious. Bugs are going to happen. They fixed a lot of them, and they're constantly updating the game and fixing things. And they just added new DLC, which is the reason why I actually thought of this game this week, because I'm 100% getting that DLC. You can apparently build a village from the ground up, so I'm down to see how that goes.
Awesome. Good stuff, bro.
Yes,
Good
sir.
like
stuff.
it.
Good stuff.
Well, that's what I got. That's what we all got.
Yeah, we kind of went really old school and then really new.
Yeah,
kind of in the
exactly.
middle.
I'm glad we had definitely a large variety of games that we picked out. I'm happy with what we picked, and I'm glad that you didn't tell me which one it was, and I'm glad that
Yeah.
that it worked out. I like it, and I'm kind of curious about that game now. I kind of want to play that Star Fox game.
Yeah.
I know. It's like I can't tell you guys, hey, go to your Steam store and buy it right now.
I know.
Well, you can, but you gotta go get yourself a $10 GameCube and then $5 Star Fox Adventures, and you're having yourself a good time.
Hell yeah.
But I could also say there's GameCube emulators out there, which you can probably get Star Fox for free and enjoy it.
Yeah,
Good point.
definitely.
I may actually look into that.
You should. It's actually a fun game. It really is. So.
Awesome.
Alrighty, guys. Well, that is the end of this week's roundtable. Appreciate everybody joining in, and let us know if you want us to talk about anything specific. Christian, I'll see you on Siege, and Peach, hopefully.
Yeah. We'll see.
Alrighty.
Bye, Felicia.
Later, guys.
Later, guys.